This is Jordan Miller, technical team agronomist with LG Seeds for this week's agronomic tip of the week. Corn right now is starting to begin to enter the dent stage for some of our earlier planted corns, and that's going to be, you're going to notice the little indentation at the end of the corn. And when the ear begins to hit that dent stage, it goes from being filled with high amounts of water and sugar and begins to convert that to starch starting at the tip. You'll notice here at the tip here, it's more of a yellow color, and as you get closer to the cob, it's going to be white. And that line that's right there in between is either going to be called your milk line or your starch line, depending on who your agronomy professor was in college. One issue that we do kind of find pop up, especially if you're starting to see some drought damage or high heat stress right before you hit that dent stage, is what is called Chaffey kernels. And that's going to be kind of characteristics by having, if you take your fingers and rub it along there, it's going to feel like a loose tooth, and the kernels are going to wiggle around, and it's going to be very dry. And what causes this is that there's so much drought is that the corn plant was able to convert the starch at the tip of that kernel, and rather than fill it up with starches, it just pulled back some of those resources, and that's going to cause lower yields and lower test weights. Another sign that you'll see during a drought-stressed corn situation is that you'll see some kernel abortion beginning at the tip. Again, the corn was unable to move resources and to finish filling out the tip of that ear. So if you start to see some very small shrunken kernels at the ear, that's going to be kernel abortion. A couple interesting things that we do kind of see while we're out walking the fields. One of them is what's called multiple ear syndrome, or what's called a bouquet ear. And that's where you'll kind of see tiny little ears, maybe 1, 2, even up to 5 or 6 ears coming off a single shank. Sometimes that's caused by some sort of physical damage early in that ear development. Another thing you'll see if you're walking the fields and if you see a relatively green plant with a brown husk and ear leaf, that's going to be an indicator that you have Claudia Ear Rot. I kind of caught this one early in the stage of a development, and you'll begin to see that typical white mold right here in the shank of the ear. Infection of diplodia happens early silking, especially if it becomes cool, wet, right before and even during silking on that corn plant. Other situations that we will be seeing here is we really see a lot of insect damage as well. And depending on where it is on the plant, usually tells what kind of insect it is. If you start to see insect holes here at the tip, that's going to be more commonly corn earworm. If we see it in the center of the ear, that's going to be western bean cutworm. Now, if we see insect holes in the stalk or here in the ear shank, that's going to be corn borer. Another thing we see affecting the stalks as well, if you see husks that are shredded and pulled back, that's going to be your bird damage. Also, another obvious indicator if it's covered with bird poop. Typically, we find a lot of this in drought years, or especially if we plant corn near large bodies of water, such as big ponds, lakes, rivers. So this is Jordan Miller signing off for this week. And remember, be careful what you say in a cornfield. Corn has ears, and it may hear what you say. Take care and have a good week.